Welcome to Jared Scott Outdoors. This YouTube channel is dedicated to getting our youth more involved in the outdoors. To do this, I'll be out with family and friends doing all sorts of outdoor adventures. This week on Jared Scott Outdoors, we are heading to some country that the majority of you, I would guess, have never heard of. We are actually in the Wind Rivers, but specifically the Green River Lakes. And I'll tell you what, this is some beautiful country. It's on the very north end of the Wind Rivers. You can basically say it's the north entrance to the Wind Rivers. There's two lakes. One of them is about 2 miles long. The next one's a mile long with a mile chunk of river connecting the two. And we are going to be canoeing into these lakes, doing some fishing, having a great time. I can't wait to show you. So I want to do a quick shout out to Hawks Canoe Rental. These guys are out of Rexburg. I've used them years ago when I've done other trips like this with a bunch of scouts, and I looked online and there really wasn't a lot of options, but there was Hawks Canoe Rentals again, and they were so easy to work with before that I went ahead and rented from them, and same thing, super easy. They've got, this is an 8-place trailer, so you can rent up to 8 canoes and have the trailer with it. They've got a 10-place one, a 6-place one, so they got the trailers, lots of canoes that you can rent for a really good price, and they're super easy to work with. So anyways, if you're looking to do something like this, just Google Hawks Canoe Rental out of Rexburg, and they'll get you lined up. As far as getting to the Green River Lakes or the Wind Rivers in general, from Idaho Falls, you'll head up to Swan Valley and on past the Palisades Reservoir. Keep on going to Alpine, and when you get there, take a left at the light as if you're going to Jackson Hole. However, after following the river for a bit, you'll actually turn right at the Hoback Junction towards Pinedale. It's a bit of a drive, but it's scenic enough that you'll enjoy the views of some big Wyoming country. Now, most of the access points for the Wind Rivers takes you through Pinedale. However, since we're going to the north end, we turned east before getting to Pinedale and started heading towards the mountain range. Make sure you have it mapped out to know the route. It eventually turns into a long dirt road. This is a road not to underestimate. It's about 20 miles worth of dirt that has good sections and bad sections. Areas of lots of dust and some with a lot of potholes or washboarded sections. I'll admit it gets pretty old. That 20 miles of dirt road can take about an hour to travel. But with patience you'll get there, and when you pull up you'll notice the reward is well worth it. Even from the far end of the lower lake you can see the iconic square mountain in the background. As you pull up to the boat ramp, the view was impressive. We could tell this was going to be a fun trip. So as I mentioned, we're at the Green River Lakes, which is the very, very north end of the Wind Rivers. Now, a lot of you have probably heard of the Wind Rivers because it's such beautiful country. It's pretty famous for all the lakes when you get deep into the Wind Rivers. Back to here though, there's 2 lakes with these Green River Lakes. This lower one's about 2 miles long. It specifically is not in the wilderness area. And so you don't have the restrictions that sometimes you have when you're in wilderness areas. And you can drive up to the edge of this one, and there's big camping areas at that end, the far end. But once you get off of the shore, it's in wilderness. And so the wilderness actually kind of encircles this lake except for the far end where you can come park and do some camping. And it's a pretty popular area. There's some big areas for taking big groups for camping. Anyways, feeding into this lake, this is the bigger of the two, is a river that's about a mile long, and then past that is the next of the Green River Lakes. And once you cross and get into that inlet and start heading up into the upper lake, now you are actually into the wilderness area. There's Square Top Mountain here, and I'm going to show you that. It's kind of iconic for this area, and you're going to see why. But this is some incredible country. We're going to do some fishing. We're going to show you this place, and by the time we're done, my guess is a lot of you might want to come out and check this place out, and I would strongly suggest it. But either way, let's get after it. Since the boat ramp wasn't very big, we hurried and unloaded all the canoes and our gear to the edge of the lake. And then we had to take our vehicles up the road to the overnight parking lot. Everyone loaded their gear into the canoes, and many of us, including Kate and I, used some paracord to tie all of our stuff to the canoe in case a mishap happened and we capsized. Then, most importantly, we got our fishing gear ready so that once we were out in deeper water, we could start fishing as we paddled to our destination.
This is amazing, and we're literally minutes into this.
Can you believe this view? It truly was captivating. Now off in the distance, we noticed that Derek and his son Carter were already reeling a fish. That would prove to be the scene we'd witness over and over again during the next couple days. Derek used to come here fishing with his father when he was younger and had the right gear and knowledge to catch the lake trout here. He used that experience to catch a lot of fish and help the rest of us to at least catch a few as well. We made it all the way across the lake, 2 miles to the other side. I actually picked up a couple smaller rainbows trolling as we went, and then got to the inlet of the lake. This river is about 3/4 of a mile long to the upper of the Green River Lakes. However, once we entered the inlet, we also officially entered the wilderness area, and we couldn't film for the show anymore. But long story short, we headed up to the upper lake, enjoyed some time there, and then came back down to the lower lake. While the upper lake was beautiful, it was more crowded, harder to fish, and had less camping options. So back we went to the lower lake where we knew the fishing could be good and had places to camp. So after getting camp set up, it was back out to the lake in an attempt to catch some fish. At first, Kate and I targeted lake trout, but didn't get any hits. Derek, on the other hand, showed us he knew how to catch them as he and Carter landed several. Eventually, we worked our way closer to shore and started fishing near the top with panther martins and Jake spinelers.
All right, me and my dad came in over to this part of the lake and threw some spinners out instead of jigging, and we've both gone at the exact same time. Go rainbow.
All right, he got the part one. Mine was further back, so I got a little more time. See what kind this one is. Felt a little bit bigger, but it's like another rainbow. Yep. Another rainbow. So you didn't see earlier in the day that I caught a couple earlier. We've kind of done lots of exploring today and trying to fish for lake trout and things, but some of the other guys are nailing the lake trout. We haven't had luck, and so we came over here to try a new spot, and like Cade said, kind of picked these up. Just trolling along here. I think it's about 7 o'clock. It's just super calm, and the fish are biting. Oh, that was a nice one. I think I'll take the net for that one. Come on. Oh, came off just as I got him in the net. Oh, that's a pretty fish. Definitely the best one of the day. Another rainbow. But solid fish. It's just crazy where we're catching these fish, the view we're at. Off to the deeps. Another one on just a couple minutes later. This one hammered. He doesn't look as big. He came out of the water, but man, he hit hard. Just another rainbow. I told Kate it was his turn, but looks like I've got the right lure or the right touch. This is just tap, so I thought it was a good little guy, but he's starting to bring it a little more. But check that out. Got the square top mountain in the back. Well, this one got hooked kind of deep in the gills, so it looks like he's the one that's going to the frying pan tonight. Okay, we switched gears and went for Lakers, and we're sitting here messing around, finding that depth. I got a depth finder, and I have not got a bite on my gear all day when we've done this, and I just told Kate, I was like, if I could just get a bite so I know they want to take this, and then wham. And this feels like a good one. Derek has caught several Lakers. He's got the right gear, but they've all been in that like 16 to 18 inch range. This has got to be bigger than that. feels like a pretty good one. Whoa! Dang! This is cool. So we're about 90 feet of depth, and the fish was at 60. Oh. This is cool. I'm excited for this. I better get the net ready. Oh, there he is down there. He almost looks foul hooked. I don't think he's a giant one, but I don't know. He's awesome to me. Maybe that's why he felt so big. I will take it. Yeah, but it is foul hooked. That's why he felt so good. Oh, nice. So not a giant fish, just foul hooked. And unfortunately, when you foul hook a fish, they're not legal to keep. But there you go. It's probably that, oh, what are we looking at? Maybe that 18-inch, if I'm lucky, 17, 18-inch range. But good fight when they're foul hooked like that. So there you go. It's been a while. We'll see if we can get some bigger ones. From what I understand, there's some pretty big ones in this lake. So we will keep at it now that we have a little hope that we're doing it right. After that, we called it a day and headed back to camp, fishing as we went. The next day found us back out on the water after a relaxing morning and swimming with the rest of the guys. All right, we are late in the day. We've been playing a lot, swimming, went back to fishing. Cade?
Got the fish on.
You think you really have one?
Pretty sure, yeah.
Well, keep it tight. So we came out and we're actually just with some really deep gear, but more of a trolling, a slow troll. Oh, I see it. That's a good one. Hey, it's official! This would be Cade's first lake trout he's ever caught, so of course I had to get some pictures. All right, want to let it go? Here he goes. 100 feet down. Good job, Cade.
All right, we've got another one.
This fish ended up spitting the hook, but the next one wouldn't be so lucky.
Dang it.
All right, I've hooked one, which is on some gear that has not been too successful lately. We got Cade on the right stuff than what Derek was using, and that's why he started catching them, but I don't have a lot of gear that not quite the right stuff, so we tried to imitate as much as possible and got one. It's got to be a lake trout. Well, it doesn't have to be, but we're down pretty deep. Yeah, see, I say that, and it looks like it's a rainbow. When we've caught rainbows down on this stuff, it's been pretty good ones. Oh, there it goes. Off right of the boat. Well, we're not eating that one, but it's cool. It was good that I caught one there. So I've got on mine just a big jig and following it up with a cast master, but down deep. We're 138 feet right now, but we're kind of trolling, so that's going to pull them up a little bit. But either way, good times. Beautiful place. That's by you. As you'd guess, we did more fishing and had a great time catching rainbows and lakers. The scenery was amazing, and the experience my son and I was having was just what I'd hoped for. Another rainbow. This is some beautiful country, and as you've seen, the fishing can be pretty fun. It's not necessarily guaranteed, but you know, you got lake trout and rainbows, and all the different lakes in the Wind Rivers are loaded with different kinds of fish. It's a very unique mountain range, 100 miles long. So when I say mountain range, this is some big country, and you're never going to be able to explore it all in even a year of backpacking. But anyways, this is the tip end of the wilderness area of the Windrivers. Just giving you a little bit of inkling of what there is out here. And so if this is something that kind of got you excited, come on out here. Mosquitoes are pretty bad early part of the summer, but once you get into August and beyond, they die down considerably, so that is by far the best time to come out. But anyways, Green River Lakes, this is definitely something to put on your go-to list. For me, I couldn't be happier. It was a great time that I was able to come out with Cade and some friends and their kids and just have a great time. That's going to wrap it up for now. See you next week. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to the Jared Scott Outdoors YouTube channel.